get this, John Paulson, the founder of Tropfest, he's obviously watched thousands of entries. He's once quoted saying that he knew within 30 seconds if he's in the hands of a great storyteller. Hey there, I'm Jason, and this is tip 1 from me, a true Tropfest tragic. I've won Tropfest in New York. I came runner-up in Sydney. I made the shortlist a couple of times, but more importantly, I bombed out stacks of times. Now, I want to share with you what it took from making entries that sucked to entries that succeeded and won. Tip 1, a remarkable beginning. When you're entering a film festival that gets 800 plus entries, it's on you, the filmmaker, to make absolutely sure that the start of your film is nothing short of exceptional. Remember this, the very first audience your film will have is a pre-selection judge. I've heard pre-selection judges will give a film 30 seconds to make an impression, but I've heard of one that had a 10-second rule. Think about it, if your entry didn't get their attention in the first 10 seconds, it was a hard pass. So my tip is make sure your entry sits up and makes its mark as soon as you hit play. Tip 2, make it shorter. Making a kick-ass Tropfest film means time is really precious. But how many times have you sat through watching other people's shorts and roughly about 2/3 of the way through, you just feel like there's a natural endpoint? A real common mistake that I see filmmakers make when they enter Tropfest is thinking they need to pad out that full 7-minute entry criteria. Here's the thing, I went on the Tropfest YouTube channel, I counted up all of the finalist films and I averaged their duration, and it actually came to 6 minutes and 9 seconds long. But get this, the average of a Tropfest winning film, 5 minutes and 8 seconds. So even the finalists and the winners know shorter is better. Tip 3, sound before picture. I think the audio does so much of the heavy lifting when it comes to short films. It builds the emotional heart of your film and it really helps your audience connect with your film's message. Whereas the pictures are processed by, they're a visual cortex thing, right? So it helps you put together the logic in your story. Now here's the interesting part. I've sat in festival screenings where you watch a film play and there's a bit of there's something going on with the picture that doesn't make sense. But as long as the audio stays intact, the audience will endure it. Flip that on its head though. The same scenario with perfect pictures but poor sound, audiences walk out. So my takeaway for you here is to pay the absolute highest level of attention to the quality of the audio in your Tropfest entry, because every audience will. Tip 4, don't fight the feedback. Don't just ask people what they like about your film. Right? Everyone can do that. Ask them what needs work. Looking back, there was a big problem with my first films. In fact, I thought they were so amazing, I didn't seek any feedback. And those films suffered because of that. They went nowhere. When I started asking for feedback, things had the potential to change, but didn't, because I largely ignored the feedback. In fact, I learned to show my work to people that would only say nice things. The change? Listening to the hard stuff and implementing. It killed my self-pride, it really did, but it gave a whole new life to my Tropfest entries. I learned to show my work to people more likely to be honest and tell me what actually wasn't working for them, because it elevated my work and it made that film the best version of what it could be. My films went from, pass thanks to, Jason, it's John Paulson here. Tip 5, emulate, don't imitate. I remember watching the Tropfest films every year and thinking, I reckon I can do that too. That, my friends, is a perilous pathway, because the one thing that John Paulson isn't looking for is just a different version of what's already made it into Tropfest previously. Flip this on its head for a second. Would you go and see films that feel like something you've already seen before? No. Take a conventional story or format and turn it inside out. It's not actually important that people like your film, but it's important that people notice your film. Tropfest has a rich history of rewarding brave storytellers. Now, this by no way means that your film isn't up to the task, right? I want you to look at this more as an invitation to explore how you're making your film, what you can execute to make it the boldest, deepest, most contrasting expression of that idea you've fallen in love with. My advice, different stands out. Different is what's going to grab a pre-selection judge's eyes. Different is what builds a program of unforgettable festival films. My 6th Tropfest tip is to have a story behind your story. Making any film is a huge achievement, right? But making a film that gets onto the shortlist of Tropfest, well, that's next level huge. I mean, if you get that call, well done, go you. At this stage, you're also going to be asked to share any PR-worthy stories about your film. So who's in your film? Why? Where was it shot? What inspired your film? Did anything happen during the making of your film? Having a cracking story behind the story is going to really lift your film up. It's going to amplify it as a festival package. Keep in mind that shortlists traditionally has been the top 10% of entries. Survive that, and you're a finalist. There will be an intense focus on all of the finalist films. And I can guarantee you that the films that get the most amount of media exposure, the biggest hype before the festival, are the films that have a striking, kick-ass backstory behind them. So make your film great, by all means, right? Of course, but back it up with an incredible backstory too.